All right, we are going live right now for JIBX number 11. This is Eternal format, as all of the recent JIBXs have been. We have 5 participants today, all participating with various Eternal format decks. Should see some very fun stuff today. All right, so let's see this here. We're gonna get myself set up a bit. Get them going here in just a second. I need to close you. All right, this is a little frustrating. I need more windows, or actually I need more monitors is what I need. 3 is not enough for this, guys, that's all I'm saying. I'm gonna go ahead and start the round timer real fast. We are going to jump in on this game and begin the timer. Alrighty, so we have 2 players here having some fun deck stuff. We have 5 total participants today, so if you are interested in jumping into Eternal format in the future, definitely do so. It's free, and you get some codes if you place, so it's not always worth it. You always get a little something. And because we're playing on tap, you don't even have to try to get the cards on PTCGO or TCGL, so it's busted. Alrighty. So we have Benjamin Grove versus Texter 11. Both players have selected their starting Pokemon. And we see a Rotom V. Uh-oh. This could be very interesting. Rotom V coming down into play. Espeon V also into play. So kind of an interesting start for Texter. And probably a very interesting deck for Benjamin. Could be pretty wild. I see a Zelf come down for Texter. Zelf going to be using that Time Walk, pulling the Mewtwo Mew GX out of the prize cards, putting a random, well, not a random card, but a card of their choosing into their prize cards to make that swap, to get that Mewtwo Mew out of the prizes. And we see a Fire Energy come down on that bench Mewtwo and Mew. And we see a pass. So that is a bit of a slow start from Texter there. Benjamin getting ready to probably go ham with his Rotom V. Speaking of Rotom V, the Rotom V Star is coming out in Crown Zenith here in January. So be on the lookout for a video coming out this next Friday. And yeah, I'm going to be testing it for standard format on a video coming out this coming Friday. So we see Benjamin discarding a Cessation Crystal and Big Parasol with the Ultra Ball there. Searching their deck for a card. Probably something interesting. Get a Crobat, just going for some extra cards, making that choice easy. I'm not really worried about Texter going, not really worried about Texter gusting that card up. I do see Thunder Mountain also come down from the hand there. So Thunder Mountain going to be pretty good for Benjamin, reducing the attack cost of the Scrap Short by 1 lightning energy, which means that Scrap Short can be used with just a single attachment. Quick Ball coming down, discarding Cape of Toughness. Cape of Toughness, not really necessary for this match. I'm not sure that's really necessary for Rotom V in general. The HP is just kind of low. But it's a tool card that can go to the discard pile and eventually make its way to the Lost Zone with Rotom V's attack. So again, scrap short, 40 plus damage. Put any number of Pokemon tool cards from your discard pile into the Lost Zone. This attack does 40 more damage for each card you put in the Lost Zone in this way. So we see EXP all come down on Rotom V. That is basically experience share for all of you who are newer to the game, have not been around for ages. All right, we see Research discarding a whole bunch more cards from the hand. The discard pile now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tool cards in it off that discard. And we see Coco Prism Star come down. Coco Prism Star's Dance of the Ancients will allow him to attach two lightning energy. Oh dear Lord. Oh, what have we done to deserve this? Wow. Okay. Benjamin Grove going with a triple battle compressor. Going to search out most likely 9 or up to 9 tool cards from the deck, throw them straight into the discard pile. Grabbing Big Parasol, Cessation Crystal, Cape of Toughness, Guzma. So getting some supporters, probably getting an energy too to make use of Tapu Koko Prism Star. But that is quite a hand that they got off of that research. Another experience all. That's 4 more tool cards so far. That's 5 now. Getting Guzma Hollow to the discard pile as well. That's 7 of the 9 choices they can make off of these battle compressors. Okay, just choosing to do the 7, not going to go for all 9. It's fine. So they're going to go ahead and discard all 7 of those cards and the 3 battle compressors from play. And wow, that is some devastating stuff. Touching a Giant Bomb to Rotom V. So Giant Bomb is a Pokemon tool card from Unified Minds that reads, if this tool is attached to one of your Pokemon, discard it at the end of your opponent's turn. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon and takes 180 or more damage from your opponent's attack, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, put 10 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So Rotom V only has 190 HP. So if that gets hit, and even if they whiff knockout by 10, or if they knock it out, they're going to be taking 10 damage counters for hitting it, which is pretty devastating. So Benjamin Grove choosing not to knock out the Espeon, or no, choosing to knock out the Espeon is exactly enough. 4. Yes. Okay, there we go. Discarded. So wondering why it was staying there for a bit. We do have the knockout there, so that is going to be 2 prize cards for Benjamin Grove. I have to imagine that, yes, that Mewtwo is coming to the active spot to do some damage, hopefully. Although, this is very much a back foot start for Texter here. That Rotom is just nasty. All right, Texter having to pass doesn't unfortunately have anything to go with on this turn, and Benjamin is just very well set up at this moment. Going to be able to just instantly knock out this Mewtwo and Mew and push further into the prize cards. Leaving him with just 1 prize card left after this knockout. Okay, I'm corrected. There, the not passing. I also okay. So Ben also misunderstood me. So in untap, you have to pass the turn back and forth to let people know who it is, whose turn it is. That turn was not passed, so the pass has been happened. It is Texter's turn. Is they are not passing the turn. So, although maybe. Okay, I'm going to choose to play Welder. Yeah, they're not passing the turn. They do indeed have an option there. So choosing to Welder will just one fire energy onto the active Mewtwo Mew GX. Having swapped that energy previously with the Holland's Magneton basically serving as a double rainbow energy. So you basically have two rainbows and a fire energy currently attached to Mewtwo Mew. Unfortunately, Mewtwo Mew doesn't really have anything it can copy right now. There are no GX Pokemon anywhere for it to copy, no EX Pokemon anywhere for it to copy. I can copy at the bench and the discard pile, but there is nothing on the bench and there is nothing on the discard pile for it to copy. So there's nothing really for it to do at the moment. It can't copy anything. And this Mewtwo really does need to take a knockout here. And it also really needs to find a field blower. It looks like the Mewtwo Mew is just going to retreat. I'm going to put that as Zelf in the active spot. Going to say, maybe not. Maybe not. Choosing not to retreat. Making difficult choices here. Texter second guessing that retreat. This is best of one, so if this game ends, that's it for this round. The other game for this particular tournament has already ended. All right, Texter needs to make a play. So the Texter deciding that he may need to just go in with Miraculous Duo to at least take a knockout, but I genuinely don't think that's going to be enough. Yes, he'll get the knockout, but he's going to be taking 10 damage counters from Giant Bomb, and then that Rotom V on the bench just comes the active. It takes a single attachment, basically, for it to do what it needs to do to KO this Mewtwo Mew, especially after that Giant Bomb. That's going to be down to 170 HP. Just 4 tool cards in the discard pile is going to make that a knockout. And there's also Versus Seeker possibility because Benjamin Grove does have a Guzma in the discard pile, so even if he chooses to retreat, I mean, now there's a Mewtwo Mew on the bench, but this Mewtwo Mew in the active is toast. Yep. Texter choosing to Miraculous Duo, going to take the knockout on the Rotom V, doing 200 damage. Rotom V only has 190 HP. Giant Bomb does go off. Mewtwo Mew GX is going to take 10 damage counters from that Giant Bomb. So Texter taking price cards, but at a very high price here. All right. See that Rotom V come to the active spot with EXP all. Benjamin just needs an energy attachment for turn, and this Mewtwo Mew is toast. Does Benjamin have that attachment? Computer search is going to find literally whatever Benjamin wants right now. That could be the energy they could decide to set up for next turn. So we're discarding a Giant Bomb and a Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor really not necessary anymore. Do wonder what it is Benjamin's going to go for. Going straight for the energy or going for a draw support card to make it easier to follow up for next turn if necessary. All right, we do see Speedlight and energy come down on the active Rotom V. So that is going to allow Benjamin to draw 2 cards. Gil says, Ben showed me the deck a while ago and it's low-key kind of fire, pretty low maintenance, attack cost with experience all, Cocoa Prism and Thunder Mountain, so you can just jam consistency and tools. And yeah, it seems like a good deck. It seems really good in Eternal. I mean, it's I don't even think it's broken necessarily. And you do have access to the stuff like Electro Power too. Not that you really want it. We do see Windstorm come down, discarding Experience All and the Float Stone. No, the Float Stone really matters, but getting rid of it anyway, just to get rid of it. Texture saying, I feel like the main problem with Mewtwo and Mew GX is that it gives up 3 prize cards. 3 prize cards is pretty devastating in Eternal when a lot of these Pokemon with 2 or even 1 prize cards, when they give up 1 or 2 prize cards, they can just really flip the prize trade for you. Or we see another Rotom V come down to the bench, and we do see the Tapu Koko being popped there. So that Dance of the Ancients rather allows you to attach 2 lightning energy from your discard pile, 1 each that is, to your bench Pokemon. So you choose 2 of your Pokemon, put a lightning energy card from your discard pile on each of them, and then you put that Koko into the Lost Zone. So choosing to attach the lightning energies to one of the benched Crobat V and the revenged Rotom V, which means that even if this Rotom V gets knocked out, Benjamin does have the knockout. Unfortunately, Texter has not found any stadium cards to bump that Thunder Mountain Prism Star, which means that Benjamin is just having a field day with his attachments. Doesn't really have to do much of anything to get powered up for Rotom. Scraptor is going to go ahead and take the knockout on the Mewtwo and Mew GX. Goes to that discard pile. That's 3 prize cards for Benjamin Grove. Alright, so the bench Mewtwo and Mew GX does come to the active spot. But this may be too little too late. Benjamin now down to 1 prize card, Texter at 4. And not going to be that difficult for Benjamin to find a new knockout against that Mewtwo and Mew, or even just to gust up the Azelf and take game that way. That bench Rotom V ensures that Guzma play is live pretty much no matter what happens here. Do you see a Welder come down on the active Mewtwo and Mew? Texter discarding Espeon VMAX and Cessation Crystal with that Ultra Ball. Searching the deck for a Pokemon, any Pokemon. I do wonder what. Probably one of the Holland's Pokemon, if I had to guess. To flip out one of these fire energies with a double rainbow effect. Texter still has not used his attachment for turn. So it is possible for him to do that. To attach that Holland's Pokemon and flip the energy for a double rainbow. Does he find the double rainbow in Holland's anything? Holland's Magaton, Holland's Castworm. Is it there to get? Judging by the delay in selection, I do wonder if it is. Having to choose something else, perhaps? Texter video. Gale says, for the Rotom V the Rotom V deck, the tools that discard themselves are what make the deck, including Experience All, Balloon Berry, and Giant Bomb. Yeah, I mean, they're great cards. All of them are. They help fill up your discard pile pretty quickly. All right, so Texter is choosing to go in with the... I'm going to make the choice of the Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX. Interesting. So perhaps going to go with... Okay, choosing another discard of the Ultra Ball. Or with the Ultra Ball. So discarding that Pheromosa Buzzwole and a Giant Hearth, searching for another Pokemon. Maybe a Holland's Pokemon this time. Obviously, trying to get that Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX into the discard pile to ensure that it has an attack to use. So he'll be able to use Elegant Soul this following turn, which will do 190 damage, which will take the knockout on Rotom V. But he does still need the Holland's Pokemon to attach to this active Mewtwo and Mew in order to take that knockout with that attack. Texter taking a little long on these card actions. All right. Choosing Noivern GX, discarding Noivern GX and Guzma with another Ultra Ball. This is now 3 Ultra Balls, getting a Holland's Electrode out of the deck. So we did see that Holland's Electrode, going to bounce that fire energy back to the hand with the effect of Holland's Electrode. Holland's Electrode acting as the energy attachment for turn, and now serving as a double rainbow energy for Mewtwo and Mew GX. So that is double rainbow and fire. So going to be able to copy basically any attacks in the the discard pile in this case. So the Noivern GX and the Buzzwole Pheromosa are both available to Texter there to copy, but are either of them going to matter enough for this game to be over? Can Texter actually save this game? That prize deficit is pretty bad. 1 to 4. Can he do it? So Texter has played a supporter card, played Welder earlier on this turn. Has used 3 different Ultra Balls. Texter choosing to copy Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX's Elegant Soul to do 190. Rotom V is going to be knocked out, so that is 2 prize cards. Unfortunately for Texter, there are a lot of tool cards in the discard pile right now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, only 5. Actually, that's fewer than I thought it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's the count. So 5 times 40. 200 plus the base of 40 is 240. Just needs 1 more tool card in the discard pile to take game here. And I just saw an experience share and a couple balloon berries. Oh yeah, that's going to be 100% game. That does drastically amplify the number of tool cards in the discard pile. I think it's like 8 now. So that's it. That's going to be game. That Rotom V, even with, I mean, the speed lightning energy just got the game basically. Drew that supporter card, allowed him to discard the hand. That's going to be a knockout. That Mewtwo GX is done, over, gone, toast, no longer alive. So Mewtwo GX is falling. Benjamin Grove will take this game, and we will move on to round 2 here shortly. All right, so that is a good game from the opponent. We do see game wrapping up there. We will go ahead and start the next round here shortly. To pause that, restart that. We're about to start round 2 here. Just waiting for our players to report so we can move forward with the tournament here. All right, we do have new pairings going up right now for round 2. So players will begin their matches here in shortly. Texter taking a bye. Texter, the player we saw with the Mewtwo Mew GX this last turn, or this last round rather, taking the bye. So we will see a new deck coming in. Going to go ahead and jump in on the Gil versus iFly game, seeing 2 decks that we have not seen just yet. All right, both games going up immediately. All right, so we are jumping in on iFly versus Gil. Getting a tails for that coin flip. Gil choosing to go second instead of first. Very interesting choice. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer as our players are getting set up here. Alrighty. All right, we see a ball toy for iFly and a Shadow Rider V for Gil. Very interesting start. Texter, yes, you did indeed get the buy, unfortunately. With only 5 players, it's kind of an inevitability that somebody would get a buy each round. Gil saying, hello, ball toy from Ancient Origins. Very, 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 very common card in this format. Ball toy from Ancient Legends, of course. It will eventually evolve up into Claydol from Great Encounters. Claydol, an absolute staple in this format. And if you feel like playing this format physically, you can get the Claydol from Celebrations for like a penny, or not a penny, but it felt like a penny. It's like a quarter. It's like 25 cents. Very, very good. Very, very cheap. So we do see a Jirachi from, is that Rising Rivals? Yeah, that's Rising Rivals, and another ball toy from Ancient Origins there. So we are going to see the detour most likely off of this Jirachi. Jirachi's detour says, if you have a supporter card in play, use the effect as the effect of this attack. So unfortunately, it's a little bit confusing because the rules surrounding supporter cards have changed. So the way that we are ruling the way that card interacts right now is that if you have used a supporter card for the turn, doesn't matter if it's in your hand, if you versus secret it back or whatever, if you use a supporter card for the turn, Detour copies the effect of that supporter card. And we're using a sheet from the Black and White pre-release to come to that conclusion for the ruling. So that is unfortunately how we're going to rule it. There may be, in the future, there may be an official ruling for the Eternal format to make that interaction a little easier for players to understand, just because that rules change is pretty big, pretty significant, and does kind of impact how cards are played. But that's quite all right. We are going to see some fun stuff. So we do see Green's Exploration coming down on Gil's side. Green's Exploration getting what? Gil is going second. So the attachment to that Shadow Rider, getting the psychic energy off that Fog Crystal, I have to believe. And then Green's Exploration is getting Battle VIP Pass and Fog Crystal. So the Fog Crystal getting the Inkay. No, Fog. So Battle VIP Pass is getting the Inkay and the Brock's Vulpix. And then the Fog Crystal is getting the Azelf. So Azelf is going to search those prize cards for a Pokemon. And then you'll do a little swap with a card from your hand if you choose. Gil making that choice, whether or not necessarily they are interested in that pick there. So getting another Brock's Vulpix out of the prize cards. So swapping a card from their hand with the prize cards to get that Brock's Vulpix. Choosing not to play it down, looks like. Gonna just hold on to it. Gil attacking into the active ball toy for 10 damage with Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist says no special energy cards, no stadium cards. So iFly cannot play a stadium card. It cannot play any special energy cards down. But that may not matter because, unfortunately for Gil, Detour does not have an attack cost. We see a Level Ball come down. Level Ball probably searching for Jirachi EX or for Lapras. Probably Lapras. Although the Jirachi EX would be especially cool. Okay. Not going to be either one. I am wrong there. Going for that Claydol, getting that draw. Probably looking for a way to get this ball toy out of the active spot. Interesting. So getting that level, playing that level ball, confusing the active Pokemon, so both the Shadow Rider and the Baltoy, and then going to use that that Clay Doll to unconfuse the active Baltoy. Yep, there you go. Baltoy is no longer confused because now it's a Clay Doll. Just needs to find a way to switch it out. So do we see a switch card? Do we see the Float Stone? Do we see a switch? Do we see a Guzma? iFly dropping 2 cards to the bottom of the deck to draw up to 6. That is the very, very powerful Cosmic Power, Poke Power on that Clay Doll. Dropping another Jirachi from Rising Rivals onto the bench, and another Clay Doll from Great Encounters, evolving from that Ancient Origins Baltoy. That second Clay Doll is going to use that Cosmic Power, putting another 2 cards from the hand back to the bottom of the deck, and drawing up until 6. There's the Float Stone, so that Baltoy will retreat. Okay, so iFly choosing to use a Green's Exploration this turn. Green's Exploration, search your deck for 2 trainer cards and put them into your hand. So iFly, I'm going to find 2 trainer cards. Getting Life Dew and Team Rocket's Handiwork. Very, very fun card there. Life Dew going onto the benched Jirachi. So if you're not familiar with Life Dew is an ace spec. That ace spec reads, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. So if Gil knocks out this Jirachi, he will not take a prize card for it. Alright, iFly using Green's Exploration's effect with Detour. So Detour is an attack on Jirachi that costs no energy. Says if you have a supporter card in play, the effect of that card, use the effect of that card as the effect of this attack. So in the Eternal format and in Unlimited, that will be use the effect of the supporter card that you played during your turn. So iFly using the effect of Green's Exploration to find a Cursed Shovel. And a Sky Pillar. So iFly choosing to get ready for some devastation here so that next turn, even if Gil tries to gust around this Life Dew, won't be able to devastate iFly in any way. Alright, Gil choosing to go for a level ball here. Getting probably, I had to imagine a Clay Doll from Great Encounters. Gotta get the Clay Doll. Gil's searching the deck, making sure they have options available to them. Playing down that Clay Doll makes sense. Going for another level ball. Having to make the choice of getting a second Clay Doll or a Lapras. Do you get the Lapras from Legend Maker so that you can get a supporter card, or you just go for another Clay Doll and set yourself up for the next turn? So iFly's deck is a mill deck. This is not a traditional attacking deck. So every card that Gil draws is going to be helping iFly work toward their victory, work toward their win condition, right? So if Gil runs out of cards, can't draw a card at the start of their turn, they're just going to lose. Choosing to go for the Lapras. Lapras using support navigation. Support navigation is that Poke Power that says when you play it down from your hand, search your deck for a supporter card. Gil choosing to get Green's Exploration. Green's Exploration going to find 2 of any trainer card. Could go for another Level Ball, Evolution Incense. That works. So Evolution Incense probably going to get the Brock's Ninetales, I had to imagine, and Level Ball as well. Probably going to get Claydol. So Evolution Incense, Level Ball both being played there. Texter saying, I already see Greens being rebanned. It's a possibility, but I honestly don't see anything here especially egregious for what it's doing. It's just finding item cards and trainer cards in general. It hasn't committed any grievous sins just yet. We do see Claydol being used there. Claydol's Cosmic Power, drawing 5 cards for Gil. Alright, so Brock's Ninetales, if you're wondering what the heck's going on here, Brock's Ninetales has a Pokemon power called Shapeshift. Once during your turn before your attack, you may attach an evolution card from your hand to Brock's Ninetales. This does not count as evolving Brock's Ninetales. Treat Brock's Ninetales as if it were that Pokemon. During your turn, you may discard the evolution card attached to Brock's Ninetales, and this power can't be used if Brock's Ninetales is asleep, confused, paralyzed, or paralyzed. And if Brock's Ninetales becomes asleep, confused, or paralyzed, discard all evolution cards attached to it. So right now, we're treating that Brock's Ninetales as if it is a Vileplume from Burning Shadows. Burning Shadows Vileplume says, as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent's basic Pokemon can't attack. So Jirachi is being countered there. Very, very good choice for Gil there. Just locking iFly out of Detour. Can't use Detour if Vileplume is in play. So that is a little unfortunate. So just kind of put that Vileplume to the active, shut off that Jirachi, forcing him to find some sort of gusting card to get that Vileplume back out of the active spot. Gil does not even need to attack to be annoying here. Just going for the stall option with this Brock's Ninetales. Alright, we see Team Rocket's handiwork. Team Rocket's handiwork. Flip 2 coins. Discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck for each heads. So we saw 1 heads there, so 2 cards were discarded from the top of Gil's deck. That was a Fog Crystal and a Versus Seeker. I see the Curse Shovel come onto that active Jirachi, and another Jirachi come to the bench. So that Curse Shovel is going to be a little bit of an annoyance there for Gil. This is very interesting because we have a deck serving as a stall archetype versus a mill archetype here, and both decks are going to have just 17 minutes left to find victory in this, and neither one has taken a prize, and we're already halfway into this round, so this could be pretty crazy. iFly having to pass, unfortunately doesn't have a way to attack because of that Vileplume. Alright. Gil using Versus Seeker for Green's Exploration. What 2 choices is he going to go for here? Going for a Silene, getting it ready for next turn, probably. And for a Fog Crystal. Probably just getting a Psychic Energy. Yep, that's true. Getting a Psychic Energy, attaching it to the bench Shadow Rider Calyrex V. I can't imagine Gil is going to retreat this turn, though. I think he wants to keep that Vileplume in the active. Yeah, he's just choosing to pass. Once again, forcing iFly to find some way to deal with this Vileplume or just rely on Team Rocket's handiwork to get the mill here. 2 cards being discarded from the top of Gil's deck here. We see a Versus Seeker and a Raihan going to the discard pile there. iFlight choosing to play that Versus Seeker, going to the discard pile, playing, choosing a card. Did not see which card, unfortunately, but it did go to the hand, so support a card. iFlight just having to pass. iFlight not having an option there. Still can't attack because of that Vileplume. Passing the turn on to Gil. Gil choosing to get ready to start their turn here. Maybe. Still haven't seen the draw. There's the draw. There's the start of the turn. Alright, we see Silene. Silene comes in. Flipping one heads, one tails. Able to put a card from the discard pile back on top of the deck. Texter saying way too many coin flips in one game. That's pretty fair, honestly. Definitely a lot of coin flips there. Gil stacking the deck with that Versus Seeker. And then choosing to Cosmic Power into it. Drawing just one card off of Cosmic Power. Trying to keep their draws in check so they don't deck out. iFly has 32 cards left in deck. Gil has just 17. Gil's deck a much more aggressive one, but could be interesting. Alright, Brock's Ninetales going to shapeshift to Gallade here. Getting a Buddy Catch. And then choosing to discard that Gallade. Little confusion with the ruling there on Brock's Ninetales. Unfortunately, I'm not quite certain of the ruling myself off the top of my head. All right, we are going to Pokegym appears to be down, so that may not be an option. Let's see here. Going to say no. Don't think that was a legal play, unfortunately. That's interesting. I'm not sure here. Yeah, actually, you can. So there is indeed a ruling here. Good. All right, so we did find a ruling on the compendium. It says you can attach more than one evolution card to Brock's Ninetales, but of course only once per turn. Brock's Ninetales will then be treated as the latest evolution card attached if you decide to, if you discard it, that is cut off. So if you decide to discard the latest evolution card attached, then Brock's Ninetales will revert to being Brock's Ninetales and does not, and not any previous still attached evolution cards. So let me read this real quick. You can attach more than one evolution card to Brock's Ninetales, but of course only once per turn. Brock's Ninetales will then be treated as that latest evolution card so attached. If you decide to discard the latest evolution card attached, then Brock's Ninetales will revert to being Brock's Ninetales and not any previous still attached evolution cards. Pokemon Power states that you treat Brock's Ninetales simply as the latest attached evolution cards. It does not say anywhere that it would revert to a previous attached card. So any previous attached cards would simply stay in play, not affecting Brock's Ninetales. Going to showing a ruling here with the players. Fortunately, Brock's Ninetales is a bit of a ruling's nightmare, but we are going to get there. Working around the character limitation of untap. We are going to try to see if we want to unwind. There will be an extension for this because of the ruling. All right, the players are just choosing to play on. That's fine. Okay. All right, we see a tails and a heads on Silene. Getting a different Vileplume in play now. Irritating Pollen, blocking all item cards from both players' use. Team Rocket's handiwork. Flipping double heads. So that's 4 cards off the top of Gil's deck there. Sky Pillar coming down. Sky Pillar prevents all effects of the opponent's attacks, including damage done to benched Pokemon. Gil is saying that, okay, I lose, good game. So I think Gil might be scooping here. All right, so Jirachi Mill definitely going to take this game here. Gil does appear to be scooping. Says he did not expect to face a mill deck, unfortunately. So just didn't have the option there. Gil did have Sentinel. Sentinel really would have been great, but not in the deck. So that's coming from outside the game there. Yeah, just not really an option. But Stoutland would have been really good for this particular matchup. Would block Team Rocket's handiwork and prevent that Jirachi from being able to completely abuse Team Rocket's handiwork. So. All right, so let's see if the other game is still going real quick. We have all of our matches done for round 2. So we are going to go on to round 3 here shortly. This will be the final round for our little tournament here. All right, so players getting ready for this next round. So are they going to be the final games for this particular tournament? It's going to be iFly versus Texter and Benjamin Grove versus Gil. So Texter will be facing Jirachi Mill. Nope, that is an old game. So we are going to go here and we're going to change things. We are now in round 3. We are not in round 2 anymore. Marvelous. All right, we see games going up there. All right, let's see which games we shall pick. We shall pick. What have we not seen? Actually, I think we've seen all of these. Oh, darn. We never got a chance to see Katsuban's deck today. Unfortunately, they got a bye this round. I was hoping to feature them this last round, but they are on a bye. So that is not going to be a thing we can do. So we will look at... Let's look at... Which one do we do? Let's look at this one. So Benjamin Grove has taken a mulligan there. 2 mulligans, in fact. And 3 mulligans now. That could be very, very bad, unfortunately. A 4th mulligan. Oh, boy. Do we finally have a basic Pokemon? We do. Okay, so 4 mulligans was the ticket. Just got a mulligan 4 times in your set. So, for those of you who have not seen the news, it was announced this morning that come Scarlet and Violet base set, so come the release of Scarlet Violet base set in Japan, or Scarlet X and Violet X in Japan, Pokemon Tool Cards will no longer be classified as a subclass of item cards. So Pokemon Tool Cards will now be their own class of trainer card. They will not be item cards anymore. So cards like Mew from Celebrations will not be able to find them. And this effect is going to retroactively impact all cards that were classified as Pokemon Tool cards. All previous Pokemon Tools will now just be Pokemon Tools and not item subclasses. All right, players may begin. Time has started. We're good to go. We see a Speed Lightning Energy come down for Benjamin Grove, drawing 2 cards from the deck there. Speed Lightning Energy, an extremely good card for Lightning decks. Unfortunately, it is rotating from Standard, so if you are playing Standard and not Eternal, you will be seeing the card say Sayonara here fairly soon. Rotom V coming down, Ultra Ball also coming down, discarding Big Parasol and Cape of Toughness. Both of those going to the discard pile, getting ready for the attack on that Rotom V to be... Basically, you want ammunition for that attack, and that's what you're building up. Crobat V coming down out of that effect there. Discarding a Windstorm to further thin the hand before using that Crobat V's Dark Asset ability. So Windstorm, again, going to the discard pile. Searching the deck for something for that quick ball. Probably a Claydol, if I had to imagine. Not Claydol, Baltoy. I'm not saying not Claydol. Claydol is a stage 1. For the Baltoy, so it can evolve into the Claydol later on. Going for an Azelf. Going to search the prize cards first. Going to see what they can find there. Going to resolve all those effects real quick. Not playing the Azelf just yet. Putting everything back in the hand and making some choices first. Okay, now playing the Azelf. So we are going to see Time Walk, looking at those prize cards, checking out the prize cards, choosing a Pokemon there, putting it into your hand. So finding that Tapu Koko Prism Star, pulling it out of the prize cards, and swapping a card in hand for that Tapu Koko. So probably going to play that Koko down just to have it ready for later. And then play that Crobat for 5. Yep. Going to see the Dark Asset, drawing 6 cards for Benjamin there. Getting some extra cards to discard, probably some juicy new tools that need to go away. All right. Rotom V using its instant charge ability. Instant charge says draw 3 cards. If you do, your turn ends. So very good effect, especially if you're going first on your first turn. Just get some extra cards, needing those cards, and you get them because of it. Gil drawing a card from his deck. Could be good. All right, so level ball coming down on Gil. Have to imagine getting a Baltoy. No, not getting a Baltoy. Getting Brock's Vulpix, but playing Green's Exploration for Battle VIP Pass and another trainer card. So Brock's Vulpix is down. Getting Silent Lab. Very interesting choice. Playing the Battle VIP Pass. Battle VIP Pass going to find 2 basic Pokemon and put them directly to the bench. Getting a Baltoy and probably another Vulpix? No. Single Strike Urshifu. Very good pick, actually. Going to be pretty devastating for these Rotom. They are weak to fighting, so pretty easy to KO the active. Just got to find a way to switch that Shadow Rider out and attach an energy to this Urshifu to get a good 60 damage chip in. Or just wait till next turn and get it evolved up and KO the active, KO a bench. Or hit the bench, I guess, not quite KO. Right, we see a level wall come down. Playing the Zelf. I'm going to look through those prize cards real quick. And again, just like Benjamin, we're going to find a Pokemon there and take a little swap. All right, we see Enhanced Hammer come down, discarding the Speed Lightning Energy from Rotom V. These are some very, very interesting decks this go around. Definitely built differently now that Green's Exploration is legal. For those who are not familiar, Green's Exploration was banned for a while because of its interaction with Pokedrawer Plus. Pokedrawer Plus was a card that allowed you to search your deck for, well, if you had 2 of them, you could play them at the same time and search your deck for 2 of any card. Unfortunately, it just ended up being the Pokedrawer Plus was probably the problem. So Pokedrawer Plus was banned and Greens was unbanned. Right now, Greens is still safe. It seems to be okay right now. We may come to a conclusion that maybe that's not the case later on, but right now Greens is okay. Greens has not been a big problem in this tournament, but it has been very good. It has been impactful, but not quite busted. When you don't have Pokedraw Plus, Greens is a lot less of a problem. All right, so we see Battle Compressor come down, Cape of Toughness being pulled out, Cessation Crystal being pulled out. And EXP all being pulled out. So that's 3 tool cards, all going to the discard pile off that compressor. Going to try to get these Rotom powered up, but with that Silent Lab in play, Tapu Koko can't use Dance the Ancients, so it's going to be pretty difficult for Benjamin Grove to get 2 energy on these Rotom. Unfortunately, because of Shadow Mist, too, Benjamin can't even play a Stadium card right now. Has to just find a Windstorm or a Field Blower or some other alternative means of getting rid of Silent Lab. Using Computer Search to discard a Lightning Energy and a Quick Ball. Probably going for a Windstorm. Going for Balloonberry. So Balloonberry is going to be attached to the Rotom. And there we go. There's a Giant Bomb and an EXPL. All right, we do see the Windstorm come down. Silent Lab is being discarded by Windstorm. So that does give Benjamin Grove the option to use Dance of the Ancients. There is one basic lightning energy in that discard pile, so it would at least get some energy into play. We see a manual attachment on the Rotom V with Giant Bomb. And a Professor's Research coming down to just nuke that hand and draw a fresh hand of 7 cards. All right, Coco Prism Star being used there. Dance in the Ancients going to send Coco to the Lost Zone. So that will attach an energy from the discard pile to one of the Pokemon. So that Rotom V is going to get the attachment there. So that Rotom V is now powered up, ready to go. Obviously, would have been preferable to have a second lightning energy in the discard pile, but just wasn't an option for Benjamin. But it is powered up, so that is good. That is good. Choosing to fail the quick ball, discarding that cessation crystal. And playing another quick ball to discard Balloonberry. Trying to build up some tools in that discard pile. Just kind of get it a little bulked up with those tools there. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. 7 tool cards already in the discard pile for Benjamin Grove. Getting ready for that Urshifu, I have to imagine. So we do see the retreat there. That's now an 8th card, an 8th tool card rather, in Benjamin's discard pile. This Bloomberry does make you retreat or discard it when you retreat. You see Rotom V go to the active spot with that giant bomb attached to it. And there will be a nuke here from that Rotom V. Rotom V going to do 240 damage, loss owning 5 tool cards from the discard pile. That will knock out that Shadow Rider V. And we do see the first 2 cards taken from the prizes by our players here now, 12 minutes into the final round of this tournament. We see Brogus Ninetales come down, evolving Vulpix, making it ready to just be whatever it needs to be. So Urshifu come down on the benched Urshifu and a Floatstone on the active Urshifu. It's going to probably swap in to get a Gale Thrust in, if I had to imagine. Get that knockout with Gale Thrust. Going to draw cards off of Claydol. Drawing 5 cards off of Claydol's Poke Power there. That Cosmic Power is quite something. Bibarel wishes it could be as good as Claydol. We see a Little Ball. Getting a Pokemon with 90 or less HP. Perhaps a Lapras? Gil making some choices here. Yep. Indeed, it is a Lapras. Lapras using support navigation to grab a supporter card from the discard pot, or from the deck rather. Going to attach a Psychic Energy to the benched Rapid Strike Urshifu V and search the deck for a card, any card from the deck. Probably going for a Fighting Energy if I had to imagine. Need that Fighting Energy so you can get a Gale Thrust off and attack that Rotom V in the active. Choosing Computer Search instead. Discarding a Fighting Energy and a Gallade to do so. Getting the item lock on Vileplume here. So Vileplume now is in play. Both players are no longer able to play any item cards, which is pretty rough for that Rotom deck. Unfortunately, at least until Scarlet Violet races, those Pokemon Tool cards are still considered item cards. Gil thinking about retreating here. Going to go ahead and execute that retreat. Going to use Gmax Rapid Flow to take out the active Rotom V and one of the benched Pokemon. Gonna knock some damage into them real quick. What's up, Ryan? Glad to see you join today's tournament. This is the final Eternal Format tournament for the year. We are playing JIBX number 11. Very fun stuff. So Giant Bomb does go off and hit 10 damage counters on that active Urshifu VMAX. So we just need to see Gil find some way to take a KO here on presumably that benched Rotom V. So the damage counters got placed on the wrong Rotom V, unfortunately. There we go. That's fixed. So just 60 damage left on that Rotom V before it is knocked out. Benjamin Grove now having to make the choice what to promote. Probably choosing to put the Rotom V to the active spot, if I had to guess. Both players with 4 prize cards remaining here. Benjamin will need an energy to attach to this active Rotom in order to take any kind of knockout. Benjamin has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 tool cards in the discard pile. Benjamin says, wait, Cape of Toughness actually mattered in this matchup, and I've discarded both of them. I think I've lost because of that. Gets my active to 250. So 240 actually, but Gil's saying no, it's actually 240 because you only have 190 HP. So no, it did not matter. That 10 damage did make a big difference there. Thunder Mountain Prism Star coming down to take the stadium spot there. Going to make it possible for this Rotom V to attack with just that 1 energy, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, with that Vileplume in play, there's really not a good way for Benjamin to get another tool card in the discard pile. I'm going to recount real quick, just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are only 5 tool cards in that discard pile right now. Needs 5 is 240. That is enough, actually. That is enough because of the 40 base damage. That will be a knockout on that Urshifu V Max. So it is 40 plus for the damage on that Rotom V. Benjamin Groove Using Crobat V's Dark Asset to draw 1 card. Getting a Professor's Research, pretty good. Have to imagine that was off of that Crobat. Nuking the hand, getting some more cards in that discard pile. That's honestly the best way to do it at the moment. Just needs to get those cards there so they can be used for that scrap short attack. Coming up on just 10 minutes left in the round here. Both games still going for round 3, so both players, or both sets of players, putting up a good fight. So Benjamin Grove lost zoning 5 tool cards to take out that Rapid Strike Urshifu V. That was it Big Bomb? I can't remember. Giant Bomb. I knew it was something. Giant Bomb making a huge difference in the number of tool cards needed to KO. Gil says, all right, I have game. Benjamin says, all right, show me the Raihan. Yeah, I goofed. So there's the Versus Seeker. That's going to be the attachments there off that Raihan. So attach, and then, yeah, that's easily the game there. Unfortunately for Benjamin, that's just game over. So that will be the active Rotom and the benched Rotom. 4 prize cards at once, completely nuking the last of the prize cards on Gil's side. Gil is taking the game there. So we will go to switch to the other set of players there. Benjamin saying, if I had promoted the damaged one, did you have an out to still do that? Gil said, no, I should have damaged the bat. Instead, I choked, but you choked right back. So both players having acknowledged a bit of misplays on each side, but it happens. We're not perfect. We're not computers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch games here. I'm going to flip into iFly versus Texter. Hopefully they have a little bit of game left in them. All right, here we go. Ooh, very, very interesting board state. Texter right on the cusp of taking a victory. An absolutely stupid amount of energy attached to that bench Mewtwo Mew. iFly coming down with that Jirachi, using a detour this turn. Beast Game GX apparently was a factor in the number of prize cards at the moment. Beast Game GX says, if your Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take 1 more prize card. If this Pokemon has at least 7 extra energy attached to it, in addition to this attack's cost, take 3 more prize cards instead. So that's actually a pretty good attack against this deck. So that's pretty good. Detour. So Detour copying that Rocket's handiwork. Discarding 2 cards. And that is a Guzma, which is going to be game. So Texter does take the game here. Just gusting up one of those Lapras with the Claydol or literally whatever. All right, so we have results. I mean, no welder was necessary, so every our players talking about potential options that were available here. All right. So once our players report, we will have our final standings for this tournament today. Ready here. right. All right, so we do have results. So we're going to go to the control panel here. All right, so we have standings for the tournament. So we will come back here in just a moment and all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the tournament, but we do have a winner. Check out the Twitter thread in a little bit, and we'll go from there. So when I have posted the winnings there, you'll know